the way I've
Welcome to the. Okay, we're gonna start that again. You know why? Because I can. I just didn't have this sound right. I mean, clearly I need to do this more often, and we're all getting this. Welcome to the Zachrilege cast. Chris Mallard, how you doing?
doing good. How you doing?
Doing all right. You'd think it'd be like riding a bike sometimes with podcasting, but occasionally. You're like, oh crap, what happened? My beer exploded on my keyboard, or oh yeah, I have to actually turn up the audio on the gong sounder. You don't hear it, and then I probably turned it up too loud. And here we are. Someone named Critical Cripple in the chat room. I don't know who that is. Sometimes you never know with guests who you might bring on to the chat room.
True. Critical.
Let's start. Well, first of all, so I'm starting out. When I was in Tennessee, I got some beer that I can't get in Georgia. I'm not sure why with this one, but this is a Comus. This is a Polish raspberry porter. So their regular porter actually has won a beer cup like gold medal. And I grabbed the raspberry one because these are pretty cheap for beers that I drink. And it was raspberry juice, vanilla, and chili peppers. So that's not a combo I've ever had in a beer. And I'm actually enjoying it. The pepper's a little nice buzz. And then in case that's not enough, I have the salted caramel milk stout. That's right. I like dessert beers. So anyway, just to let the crowd know where we're at right now.
Good. Yes.
Aren't you in New Mexico? Is that right?
Yes. We got all manner of craft beer that's going on here.
You're in the land of Breaking Bad?
Yes. I got a quick story about that.
Okay.
I shaved my head back in Texas before I moved here. Shaved it. I used to wear a goatee. That's all I had was a goatee, and I shaved my head. It was just I got tired of my hair. As you can see, it's probably not the greatest hair. And then I moved here. So I moved here, and I never watched Breaking Bad. And I'm walking around, and people are looking at me, and I don't know why. I walk into Furs, and this other guy, and he's got a bald head, and he's got a goatee, and he's walking by, and he looks at me, and he goes, I had no idea what was going on. And then I saw Breaking Bad, and I understood why everybody was treating me the way they were. Wow, the reception I got. So yeah, it's funny. Enjoyed it.
Yeah, and I think there was a special. Somebody made like a Heisen brew or some Heisenberg, it was on the show, kind of thing. But Georgia and New Mexico are both two states that do tax breaks for TV shows. So just about everything's filmed here. Like the recent Watchmen show on HBO was really odd because it had scenes in like downtown Decatur, which is like 5 minutes from me. And I'm like, why is this multi-dimensional TV show set? Oh, well, they're trying to pretend they're in Tulsa. And I'm like, it's Atlanta, whatever.
Right. Well, it's funny. The same thing happened here. We've got the movie, the big boom in the Netflix purchase here, and all kinds of shows going up. I do background work in a movie or a TV series that's coming out day after tomorrow. It's called The Messiah. You hear about it on Netflix. You can see me in episode 5, 6, and 7 in the background.
Okay.
I mean, nice. It's a religious show, The Messiah, and me with my atheist tattoos walking around in the background. So get with that when you can.
Yeah, there's a lot of work for like extras and stuff, which is pretty cool. But we have to this is about you and your feelings. So let's do a couple say they're out of context quotes, but they're not really out of context. But, I like to use them when I can. So here's the first one. Okay. I'm totally biased.
That may have been me. I may have said that. I would be totally biased. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All the out of context quotes are always my guest, but,
Oh, okay.
For my listening.
Yeah. Well, and the other one, I was paying attention.
Yes. Well, there's this... sometimes people go maybe a little too far to say they're neutral, like the guy you debated with last week, which we'll get into shortly. When I don't know how neutral you can be when you've taken a cleared side. But here's the other quote. I refer to the Bible as the book of death.
The book of death. Yes, that would also be me. I have a whole series coming out on that. I'm going to prove that. See, yeah, I've got evidence. Bible is evidence. I can't really call it, but the Bible is the evidence to prove that the God of the Old Testament is the evil God monster of Abraham. It's evil. Everything it does is evil and vile, and it destroys or causes destruction or is pain and all that stuff. There's not a lot of peace and love and mercy that really you ever see from. And so I'm just doing a series on it, Wile E. Coyote like.
Oh, we're definitely gonna get there.
Right.
Since you are Wile E. Coyote secretly.
Yeah.
So what is your own religious background?
Okay. I was raised Christian down in Texas. For what that's worth, loosely. The mother was kind of a Christian.
So
Dad
where
was
in
Christian.
Texas?
Odessa, Midland area. Well, Odessa, Midland, some Fort Worth, some, kind of all around, off and on.
All around. Texas is quite a large state.
My mom was Christian, but pretty loose. My dad was always a Christian. He never ended being a Christian. He was never a churchgoer because he didn't have the good enough clothes to go to church. You know what I mean? That's how he felt about it. But mom, she kind of, in the beginning, she was a church going person, and then she kind of let that go. She, for her funeral, instead of having a funeral, she just wanted a barbecue. She didn't want any words said, or she left. Matter of fact, she's the reason. Now there's a lot of reasons why I never got along with my mom very well. Bad Chris, but she introduced me to Star Trek back when. It was after the original series. I was born in 72, so it was like 75 or 76, and she made me a little, so she introduced me to sci-fi that carried me into the intellectual pursuits that whenever the Next Generation came out, that pushed me into further. I became more of a nerd than, I have a twin brother, and he went a different path, and we just have a different path. He embraced the redneck West Texas, kind of path, and I went for the intellectual, the nerd, the computer guy, and I really based it on my love of sci-fi when I was young, and she did that. And that was part of the sci-fi, I think, was part of her moving away from religion because of Star Trek and how it treats religion. So, maybe TMI there, but yeah.
Yeah, I wonder, the Christian movie industry is just exploding. But I haven't seen a lot of sci-fi attempts where why wouldn't there be a version of, the Mormons going to other planets like aliens to try to proselytize like they do to Africa and South America and all that?
I don't know, but
I just gave you an idea right there.
There you go. I have a sci-fi story, and that I have written. I have the first manuscript prepared, ready to go. And it's called The War in Heaven, and it opens with an alien race it opens with the end of the world, Armageddon. They try to pull off Armageddon thinking they'd get a whole bunch of willing religious slaves, So that's how it opens. So, yeah, an atheist sci-fi, my own little zone there. I'm serious. It goes all the way through the end. My goal with it was to go from, where we are today to Star Trek within just a few years. So I wrote myself a book. And then my plan is to build up my social media presence, my Chris Mallard, my Daily Atheist page, my evil plan of doom and despair.
Creating a brand here,
to create a brand. And when it's ready to drop the video or the book, I'll drop that sci-fi book, and I'll have a following ready to hopefully enjoy the sci-fi book. And part of the sci-fi book is they're, like I said, they're aliens and they're attacking the planet. So at some point you're able to get on a game on your phone and actually play a game on your phone, and you're controlling a drone out in space fighting off these things. So the people on Earth are participating in a social media kind of way, and therefore, I also have games and things like that built into the idea of it makes sale of the story. So it's not just a book; it's also a series of video games.
To do this, because George Lucas sort of started it by doing the toy thing with Star Wars, but now every sci-fi movie that comes out, there's always a game involved. So you should, do it to get on the ground floor, right? It's all you.
Built games into it. Yeah, it just kind of seemed like cool. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. One of these days, I don't know. It took me 6 months to write it, of 6 months of OCD.
Pretty
And
fast.
yeah, I'm not. It's not. I don't know. It's writing books is not fun. I'd rather make videos. I wish I could sit here and just tell my story and go, "Oh yeah, when they did this at the place with the stuff, and these are the people, and it's really cool." But it's just not the same as a book. You know what I mean? What about you? How long have you been an atheist? I know this is about me. What about you?
Yeah, I asked me questions since I was born. I mean, I didn't even have the religious light experience growing up. Parents never really believed, although strangely they're Catholics now, so very liberal Catholics. But yeah, it never was a thing. I think you mentioned in your one of your videos something about how you'd never been indoctrinated, and it's like, yeah, I wonder if I had been indoctrinated, been in that kind of thing, would I still be in it? Because it just never was. I was like, oh yeah, this is what I am. And it wasn't a eureka moment. It's just a, oh yeah. You know?
Well, yeah. I was one of those who would be sitting there in the church and people would be praying and kind of look around, who's really believing this, or they'd get all touchy feely. They'll sit in a little group and they want to hold hands, and I believe the Spirit is flowing through me, and I felt awkward. I felt like that was not right. It was all, and I felt embarrassed. It's like somebody was trying to fool me. At any point, somebody's going to come out and go, we're all just kidding. This is a bunch of crap. Come on now, we don't believe this. But
you're still waiting.
Still waiting. Yes.
Well, what made you decide? What made you decide to not do a podcast, but you wanted to do a YouTube channel? You clearly wanted to go the video route. So what made you decide that? What made you decide Daily Atheist?
Well, there's a couple of things about the podcast. I really, I watch YouTube all the time. I've been seeing people make YouTube channels. I don't really listen to podcasts. I can't say outside of today before I listen to yours. I never listened to a podcast that I could tell you, so it just wasn't part of my mind, And then as far as the Daily Atheist, I am a daily atheist. I'm an atheist every day. I do the place at the stuff, and I don't believe the thing ever, right? So, but I've got Facebook, I've got YouTube, I've got Instagram, I've got Twitter, and every day I am out there spreading my brand of nutbaggery. So, and now I've even got the morning show, which runs Monday through Friday, sometimes Saturday if I got something to talk about. I'm still learning. I've done it for a week and a day, so everybody's shown up and they've been wonderful. So, I'm getting closer to that Daily Atheist thing, but that's only really kind of part of the thing, and this is why I'm glad you asked, because I am a daily atheist, but I want the Daily Atheist, the YouTube channel, to be more than just about me. I would like to have other people come on and do my show, like you come out and go, hi, hello, and welcome to the Daily Atheist. My name is Zachrilege, and I'm going to do this thing at the place. Stick around and run one of my, and you do an episode of my daily. I don't want to be the only Daily Atheist. I want it to be a group of people who run a channel and put out content. Right now, I just happen to be the only one. When I do up that level to more people willing to help and produce the content, as obvious as this may seem, by the path which I have laid out, otherwise go make your own show, right? That makes sense. Picking up what I'm putting down. So somebody who wants to do a Daily Atheist, maybe that's what I ought to do. Do a guest Daily Atheist and have somebody come on and do a guest. But really, my intention is not for it to just be all me. My intention is for the Daily Atheist to be a group of people doing different series or different shows. I'm just the beginning.
Did you hear that, everybody? He's just the beginning. So
in the beginning.
When you decided to call yourself the Daily Atheist, did you know that you painted yourself into a bit of a corner in terms of the expectation? You had that term, people think, oh, he's going to have a new, fresh, exciting content every single day ever.
Yeah, you considered that a little bit. And I've had a couple of people hit me on it and go, oh, it says Daily Atheist. How come on Twitter? Do you follow me on Facebook? Do you follow me on these other things? Or is it just this? Because I'm the Daily Atheist all over. And that's really the best excuse I got. I do not produce videos daily. I would like to be able to, and maybe in the future as I go forward, I'll be able, because right now it's getting to where, obviously, like I said, I've got the morning show. So that's the thing. And then I also drop a regular scripted video every week, at least one. I've been doing a couple, like Christmas. I did Christmas. I was thinking about doing a New Year's one, drop a New Year's one. But really, I need to work on other stuff. I got to do a new intro video for my show and a new Patreon intro video. So, yeah, that corner will only be a tiny little corner in the beginning. You know, as I build content, you'll go to my YouTube channel and there'll be so many videos there that you won't think about. Does he put them out every day? Point A. Point B is that eventually I plan to get more people doing the show, and then we'd be able to drop more content. So that's kind of my answers. In the beginning, yes, whenever I've got 6 videos up and I'm trying to figure out how to make, that was kind of an issue, but now it's not so much an issue. And it won't be I'm not scared. I'm maybe a little scared.
Do not be afraid. Yeah.
Do not be afraid. Do not soil myself.
One of the keys for YouTube seems to be people having a bunch of different kind of ongoing series. So what are the ones you have now, and are there any ones coming up in the future that you're thinking about?
Okay, that's wonderful. I have some series. I've been doing Quickie with the Skeptic, me learning, anything I could think of, blah, 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 blah. So now I look back at Quickie with the Skeptic, and some of the videos I did with it will fall into the series I'm fixing to tell you about. So there was Quickie with the Skeptic, and then there was some top 10s. I like to do some atheist top 10s. That's fun. And, but then I've got the new series coming up called Monster of Abraham. And in that video series, I go chapter by chapter, book by book through the Bible, right? I want to start my way that way until I'm quit or I'm done. I'm not going to kid myself about being able to do all 66 books. But I'm going to start, and it's going to be fun. And I'm just going to exemplify why I call it the evil God monster of Abraham. I've just finished the script for chapter 2, and I'm working on chapter 3, and my point is made. I really don't need to go any further, but for you guys, so that's for this art. That's right. I suffer for you guys. You make me do the thing. Anyway, so the other series I'm going to begin soon is called The God of Death. And in that series, it's going to talk about how religious people or people of faith have killed in the name of their God, or harmed in the name of their God, or various things because of their God. My point about what the book teaches is that the book is about an evil God who, if you think about it, it's war and on a whole bunch of pantheon, a whole bunch of different gods, and the God of war gods, and now you're stuck with that, and that's the one they seem to worship. Because when you look at the books, it's just vile. If A, B, and C, and D, everything it does is cruel, malicious, vile, right from the very beginning. If you want to, for those of you who haven't seen it, go watch my video on the evil God monster of Abraham, episode 1 in creation. I'll tell you why creation was cruel and monstrous to act in the way it was done. So that's kind of that. And then, like I said, the second one is going to be rambling. We talked about rambling. You said I could ramble. The second series, like I said, is called The God of Death. Good. And it's going to be about, you let me just ramble and you knock back the beers.
Mm-hmm. You're figuring it out.
See, I'm not as dumb as I look. I'd be in a coma. So, but that one is going to be about the way people who you've heard the saying, the evils of religion were peaceful. The closer you follow those fundamentals, the more peaceful you would be. However, that's not the case. The closer you follow the fundamentals of either of these 3 religions, the religions of the evil God monster of Abraham. I just like saying it. It's fun to say. You can say it. Evil God monster of Abraham. Anyway, in any 3 of those books, what's that?
Got to pause here. Uh-oh.
I'm sorry. Are we
Sorry, we went quiet for a few seconds. We there? Are we here?
Is it okay? Are we working? Are we live?
We had a little bit of a drop for a few seconds. So I think we're having a bit of a connection issue.
Yeah, I don't know that I think mine may have died.
Yeah, you're still here.
I'm in my stream. Do you keep the stream? Or that's something I wanted to ask you, is that with your stuff, do you... Yeah, it's good. Is it dying? No, it may be there. Anyway, with your stuff,
I'm still here.
You don't keep the videos on YouTube?
Oh yeah, they're on YouTube. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, good. Okay. Yeah, all right. So I think we're working on my side. It still says live, huh?
That's why StreamYard works, because it's like, oh, it just goes to YouTube. Yeah, right. Perfect. All right.
Good.
So let's see. Where are we here? So most of your episodes, well, I guess it depends on the version, but you try to do the sort of the shorter videos, like in the 6 to 10 minute range, or will it depend on the type of show you have?
That's true. Normally, I usually try to keep them from 6 minutes to 10 to 12 minutes. Occasionally, back in when I first started, I'd get to rambling, or I'd make a really long video. And now, as I'm scripting them, and I'm going to start making them a little longer. This one I did about the evil god monster was a little too short. It's about 6 minutes, and I'd like to get more time. But I wanted it to be easy, quick. For people to get. There's a point. There are just points that I need to be made. I don't need to sit there talking for how this mother stopped giving her kid medicine and killed him. That's some people have those really long things in the future, but at this point, those kinds of things, little videos are just fine for me. My attention span is weak.
I think it's kind of good, because sometimes, the longer videos, you're like, man, I can't break this thing up. So to have a shorter content, and then people just can't get enough, so they'll keep going. Now,
Right.
will you have guests on your show, or is it just you? Because it seems like it's a one-man show right now.
Well, that's what it seems like. I was thinking the same thing. I've got my show that I do, the Daily Atheist, in the morning, and if I've been debating between the two different softwares, between StreamYard, so I could invite somebody in, but I don't know if I want to do that. I think I might want to. I'd like to get the format better and get it running smoother, and keep it the way it is, and then do something in the afternoons or evenings where I have a group thing, sort of like several people get in and chat and do something like that. I think that's probably the way I'm going to go, because for some reason, my brain has this old school newscaster way about it. That's why whenever I try to set up my shows, especially in the beginning, if you look, I'm usually sitting at a desk and I've got my thing, and I don't know, it just kind of seemed right, natural. So,
well, I don't get. I'm kind of jealous, because I don't get a lot of interaction on my YouTube channel, and when I do, hello chat room, I usually ignore it. So you, on the other hand, have attracted at least one amazing commenter. So I wanted to read the comment, because it's something. It's from today's video, I believe, the daily.
Good morning.
You can't unbelieve yourself from being a creature. You will always have a God, even if you reject it for some chemical daddy. Naturalness doesn't replace God. Sorry. You cannot escape your creatureness. That's cute. You thought you were an atheist. You simply believe in some dumb, magical, chemical daddy God. Now, after you get a comment like that, are you like, damn, I guess I'm not an atheist anymore. I'm lying to people. Or how do you do? Because YouTube comment section, everybody says don't read the comments, but in that case, you had to read it, because it's amazing.
Well, in this case, I am new. Some of them, whenever they get a lot of followers and a lot of videos, it'll be harder, I'm sure, to do it. But I enjoy it. I like engaging with them sometimes. I find it, first of all, I have to say that I know this is going to sound crazy, but what is it, right? We need to talk about, I'm going to write this down, nutbaggery. But I actually enjoy and appreciate the fact that they watched my video. They're crazy nutbag. Forgive me, I'm going to circle back to that. If you watch, it's not really as much of an insult as it sounds, but it is, but it isn't. Anyway, they completely believe differently than I believe, and yet they're sitting there trudging through my show and commenting. So
why do you effort towards something that is clearly 180 degrees opposite of you? But
right, because he wants to tell me a message. He's got a message for me. He wants to save me or whatever they're trying to do. I get it. I appreciate it. That's what I'm saying. Even though we do disagree, and as you saw, I addressed his post. I tried to kind of be, but sometimes it's just nonsense. You read their posts, and I'm trying not to be unkind. And I try not, because I'm not here to be ugly with people. I don't want to be that kind of person. But it's hard whenever they're so insistent and everything they say is crazy. It's craziness. And this guy here in particular, he kept going, make a choice. Choose this. Choose A or B. I'm like, well, what are you talking? Why are you making me choose something? Choose A or B. Like you're going to come kill my dog if I should make the wrong decision. It was just really creepy, weird.
Yeah, you had to choose.
Yeah, the way it was going.
So it's a version of the presuppositional types who basically say, they tell you what you're thinking, which sometimes happens in debates.
Right.
And it's like, okay, keep telling me what I think, because whatever I say is not getting through. But that happens.
Well, in his case, it was well, shooting it back at him, it was, so your God doesn't exist and peanut butter is bad, or your other option is God doesn't exist and peanut butter is good. Those are your only options. Choose now, choose now, choose now. Because that's what he was doing to me. He's like, you believe in this God or you believe in this God? Make a decision. I'm like,
make it more mad at comment. Yeah.
Well, so but I kind of knew there would be a little dangerous or a little, I don't know about dangerous, but worrisome and could potentially become dangerous in this business. It's just something you deal with. Good thing we're not in Singapore.
Well, with your show, do you feel like you're preaching to the choir, or you're really trying to reach Christians or just religious believers? We'll call them Abrahamic believers. We'll describe them the way you do.
Okay. Yeah, we'll come back to that one now. Okay, I preach to the choir. I'm here for the choir. I'm not shy about it. I want to talk to other atheists. We need to get together. Now, if a Christian has doubts or something, or a believer, let me not say a Christian. If a believer has doubts and they want to listen to my message and hear what I got to say and it starts making sense to them, that's wonderful. I embrace that. I want that. Maybe someday I'll move to that. Right now, I need to get a base of fellow believers in what I believe so I can be confident in what I do and go forward. So I'm absolutely singing to the choir. That's absolutely what I'm doing. And then, like I said, if I get a Christian, that's fine.
Do you worry how Christians might take your term, the evil God monster of Abraham?
Absolutely not. No. They've killed us, burned us at stake, called us names, heathens, all kinds of things. They can take a few things like that. That's the whole purpose of the video. In my videos, I call it this, and this is why. And if you want to argue those points, they're welcome to argue those points. But nobody's done that yet. We're new at that. Now, I wrote a book back in 2013 called The Anti-Theist. You can find it on Amazon, the amazing Amazon. And in that, I referred to it as the evil God monster of Abraham. I also use terms like nutbaggery. Now, nutbags. Let's talk about nutbags before we stray too far from that. Now, when I say he was a nutbag is a matter of perspective. So I am a nutbag. According to that guy over there, I am a nutbag. We're all nutbags according to somebody. So whenever he's spreading his nutbaggery, that's fine. It's not, right? I don't want to hear his nutbaggery. But I'm spreading my nutbaggery. And I don't kid about it. I use that term and that phraseology for me as well as them. Because it's just a matter of perspective. I'm crazy. He's crazy. You want to use the word crazy instead of nutbag? Fine. I don't know where nutbag came from. It just kind of happened. And I don't really use it any more than I don't use it that often. If somebody kills their kid, instead of giving them diabetes medicine, I'll probably call them a nutbag. But most of the time I don't really go there. I try not to be too offensive to people. I'm not really here to make other people mad or hurt other people's feelings unless they come at me. And then we'll talk and I'll kind of use the Bible. I'm really here more to make atheist friends and build atheist community and do atheist support. And I have kind of an attitude, and I can be a jerk. So maybe I come off like I'm not real feelings. I'm here to the people's feelings necessarily, especially especially like I said, if you're here to try to build a community that will hopefully bring some sense to the world, because if the politics and the religion that's married is going on, it's just a crazy world we live in. In all my years, I've never seen the likes that we have in this world today. It's just, and it's religion. A lot of it's religion mixed into the politicians are using the religion to manipulate the people. And so when I first wrote the book 5 years ago, I was really big into the atheism. I would do things. I came here and I talked to people, and I was into the atheism. And then politics happened and work and everything else. But politics became more pressing and important and crazy than the religion. And I'd like to kind of put that. That's why usually on my show I don't talk that much about politics. I'm a far crazy, left-wing nutbag, progressive kind of person. Yeah, but I usually don't talk that much about it on the show. But for that reason, it's just not. Well, for many reasons.
I mean, I actually like the term nutbag because you hear crazy and you can get some kind of ableist where like people don't have control over mental illness. But when it comes to saying like nutbag, it's like, this is my skewed version of reality, or this is somebody else's skewed version of reality, because you got a lot of that going on. Right. But you already mentioned your book. I mean, I had a question on it. Like down the road, I got to scroll really far to find the answer. So you wrote a book about being an anti-theist in 2013. So it's very old school. I hear you're working on version 2.0. That's what's happening right now?
Well, that's actually the evil God. Well, that's complicated. Yeah. I wrote that book, and it was just essentially each chapter is a different topic, sort of like my shows, where it covers a specific thing. Like chapter 3 is women, chapter 6 is Satan, right?
Satan.
You know, those kind of things. It just covers various different things. I was going to continue doing a specific to that type of book, but then whenever I decided to do these others. So in other words, the Evil God Monster of Abraham is the video series that I'm creating was going to be that book, the follow-up to that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create that video series, and then whenever I've got enough scripts, which I save and I keep in the Patreon, I keep in the Google Drive, I will condense those scripts into a book that I will release. Ta-da!
There you go. That's how you make it work. So, of course, one of the keys to starting a true podcasting or content empire is being on other shows. And this week you appeared on Right to Reason, and it was really quaint. I'm like, oh, it's a debate about Christianity and atheism. That's very like 2013. It almost feels like that. So what was it like? You debated a Christian, and I'm not even, after listening to it, sure if there are particular topics you're talking about, because it was a bit rambly, but what was it like being on a show and kind of getting into the arena and debating with a Christian? Okay. We clearly debated before.
Yes, clearly. Okay, so I've street debated with other Christians, but I've never debated publicly with somebody who has debate experience. I'm just some guy. But I know some stuff at the place. So we talked. He was really nice. I'm not, like I said, I'm not here so much to go and debate other people, but it was fun. Anyway, I did it. It was fun because I'm not horrible at it. Anyway, the argument the topic we were debating was the Trinity, whether God is just God and Jesus is Jesus, or whether God and Jesus and the Holy Spirit are all one. Are they one and the same, or are they different? Point A.
What was
point A? And then point B was
Dale was kind of talking about the Trinity. Mm-hmm. But I never quite, like, he was kind of talking about maybe what other people thought it was, but I couldn't figure out what he thought it was. And I don't think it did come up. Like, I don't think that came up in the Bible. I know he was like, hey, when stuff was happening in the Old Testament, Jesus was there. Not that the Old Testament said anything about Jesus. There were different names, but different names don't matter. But what did you think in the end, like what he actually thought the Trinity was, or was that even the point?
Well, I've actually asked him specifically if he believed the Trinity was the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost were all one and the same. And I also asked him if he believed Jesus Christ was both man and God. And those were the topics. Are God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit one, or are they not one? That's point A. And point B is Jesus man and God, or just man, or just God? Those were the topics. Now, as an atheist, when your topic one is God and Jesus together, are they not? That's not even a question that I should be debating. That's something two Christians should be debating. One of them believes God and Jesus were two separate people, and the other one believes God and Jesus are the same. Not me, because I don't believe either one of them existed at all. So that kind of that's where, when you got in the deal, I'm like, all right, well, we're at your house looking at your comic book. If you think God and Jesus are the same person, then who am I to argue? Your faith is a fact. So, and I did my best, considering I didn't really have a goalpost to defend. I didn't know. That's why whenever I tried to bring it back to, well, did Jesus exist? Because if we're, because that's all I got as far as reality of the situation. But, his argument, he was very well spoken. He did a good job as a debater. I just don't know that his points were, well, they were typical Christian apologetic points. God is the three-headed dog of Cerberus, or it is not. God is the sun, and Jesus is the light, and the Holy Spirit is the warmth you feel. I don't know where he stood. I don't know.
Yeah, and the whole Jesus, God are the same person really gets a little creepy when we get into the whole impregnating Mary part of it. It's like, so who impregnated him? Was it himself?
Oh, wait.
Himself?
I gotta write that down. Impregnating Mary. I never thought of that. That he do that. I didn't know that he would.
I don't know, but I actually saw.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. That's a mind blowing.
An atheist on Twitter today actually quoting like Bart Ehrman and trying to make the whole mythicism thing like totally illegitimate. And I'm like, I feel like there are multiple people who have written on it and some people who have been debunked, but I think it was David Fitzgerald who had the point in his latest book. A lot of the people who are biblical scholars on the subject actually work for institutions that they have to believe in it. So how much, I don't know, where's the foundation of that? But the whole mythicism thing is definitely a topic you could definitely get into a lot. But when it comes to the guy you debated, Dale, I think was his name, Dale Glover, I think that's right.
Dale Glover, yeah.
Do you think when he said he was neutral about claims regarding Jesus' life, because he was acting like he was totally neutral, and he was a guy who said he was an atheist and became a Christian, but he said he was very neutral. And I think in terms of being a skeptic, we'll do quotes here, skeptic, that makes sense to be neutral. But when you're a believer like he is, you're not neutral anymore. I thought it was almost a way for him to take down. And if you were really strong about Jesus didn't exist, then he might be able to get in, some little logic bombs and take it down. But did you really believe when he said he was like this neutral arbiter of truth when it came to claims about the Bible?
Absolutely not. And I'm sure you remember, I straight called him out on that, didn't I? I was like, you're not neutral at all. Yeah, because he wasn't right from the beginning.
I mean, the concept is good, but we find out we all have little biases. We have ones that we're aware of, we have ones we're not aware. And you say you're biased, which is, I think more people should be. We try to do too much neutrality, especially when one side is being disingenuous as hell. But that's a tough one. But you do talk about politics, right? I was going to say, when are we going to get into controversial topics? We're talking about politics and religion. But do you do some content on that? And do you think you're going to do more since 2020 is such a big year when it comes to politics?
A lot of people want me to. The wife loves it when I do Trump or when I do politics. So I'll just real quick, I just got to do this for the people. Where should Trump be? In prison. That's where sorry. I got a whole video. I got a whole video on that. Trump should be in prison. So yeah, that's kind of I don't know. Okay. So me and you are going to debate. I'm going to get up here in my fancy chair. We're going to debate, right?
Ooh, fancy.
And you have points. You've got rhetoric you're going to come at me with. Now I'm going to have to go research you. and I got to go look you up, and I got to watch all your nutbaggery on the internet and watch you spew all your crap, so I can so I can actually understand what you're going to come at me with during the debate, if it's a political debate. You know what I mean? Not you specifically. I'm talking about politics. So if I'm going to get on here and I'm going to create a video show and I'm going to say, this guy's bad, these policies are wrong, I got to know what I'm talking about. And I don't. I know more about the Bible than I do about politics. But everybody loves it. The wife loves it when I do the videos. Everybody seems to really like it. I guess I have to say I'm more free and impassioned, but I'm also kind of new. So the more I get used to being in front of the camera, the more loose I'll become and comfortable. So that's not really going to be an excuse. Because whenever I do the video, like that one in Trump, I just got up one morning, I read the news, and I was like, son of, you know what? And I just went in and I recorded the video, and I just got it out. So other times, some videos, it took me like 6 hours to edit these puppies together. And then ones like that where I just ramble, it don't take no time at all. Get it all out there. So I don't know. I may have to take a poll and ask folk I've had, not everybody who's an atheist is a liberal.
That is true.
Yeah, and I'm really more about trying to get atheists. My goal is anti-religion and the harm that religion causes. Not being against people, but I'm going to get drug into the politics. If I do, I'm going to lose a portion of my subscribers. Will I gain more subscribers? I don't know. I don't know. It just depends on how good my rhetoric is. So we'll just have to wait and see.
But sometimes people are controversial just to be controversial. And we've talked about controversial subjects, but we have not hit the most controversial subject. And we're talking about your opinions on gravy. So in your Christmas video, you had some strong opinions. I want to hear
that was good stuff. That's right. You know what? If I want to be controversial,
you're from Texas, so you have to have an opinion about gravy, right? I mean,
that's right. I eat gravy, and but all right. So I'm from Texas. I don't really dig meat so much. So, but barbecue, I don't eat barbecue. I don't eat meat off the bone. I hardly eat burgers. They have to be well done. Steak, I do enjoy a good steak, but it's got to be well done.
So you and Trump have something in common, huh? He likes well done. We put ketchup on it.
Right. We're brothers in steak. But that's probably the extent of it. I'm guessing. So I do enjoy. If I did want to get controversial, I would do one of those yoga pants stretch tests. That's the route I want. I've already thought about it. I put mental effort into it. I'm going to do a yoga pants stretch test, and that's how it's going to work. You don't want to see that.
That's coming up. That's for the Patreon only.
Patreon only.
You got to save something extra.
Save it for the that's true.
But you're a man of many skills. You say you're self-taught on the piano, and is it the cello? Can I pronounce it correctly?
The cello.
And also into video games itself. So what made you decide you want to get into the cello and become that? And I want to ask you to do a solo, but that would be pretty awesome.
I don't have it here with me. It's in the other room. It hasn't been very nice to me lately, so I made it sit here until it straightens up. I had carpal tunnel surgery recently. And so I'm getting back into it. Okay, so it started with the piano. I taught myself when I was 19 years old, I decided I want to write a book. So I taught myself how to type with my digits. And then one day, I was like 29 years old, and I said to myself, Self, I want to learn a piano or a musical instrument, to attract the ladies. And so I was like, what instrument? Not really to attract the ladies, that's a joke. But what instrument? I wanted to expand myself, and I wanted to learn an instrument. Well, I'd already taught myself how to play how to do the typing. So that's when I started with the cello or piano, and I started teaching myself the piano. And that really went pretty good for a while, and I learned a few songs and some basics. But I got the carpal tunnel, right? We already established that.
We did.
So, so when I'd play, I would wake up in the middle of the night with the pains. So I quit playing the piano. And eventually, I'm talking like the week after I met my wife, I picked up the cello, rented one. And so I've been playing the cello for almost 5 years now. Bought a book, took it home, got the YouTubes on the interwebs, and I watched this lady. I can't even remember her name now. It's been so long. She taught me through the first parts of the book, and I learned how to cello.
Well, I'm pretty sure no atheist YouTuber is hitting the cello for like a rap battle. So, maybe
No.
you could do some music there and, make it part of your content. So where do, okay, we got to the skills. So where do people find your content?
Yes. Let me go impregnate Mary. I'm just making that note about Jesus impregnating Mary. Sorry, it just never dawned on me that if Jesus is God. I wish I'd have asked him. I bet his head would have blown up.
And now you're a Christian again.
Going back to that one point though, the debate with him, that was the one time that I remember anyway, where I've been debating a Christian on the topic of the Trinity and whether God and Jesus are one. And when I go, well, if Jesus is God, then Jesus slaughtered babies. And the Christian go, yeah, okay. Yeah, he was there. He didn't do it, but he was there. He was on their side. He was.
Yeah, I was there. It was like he had like club seats at the football game. He was just kind of watching. He had the binoculars out.
Mm-hmm.
I can really see the slaughter. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just kind of. Normally, that's where they start to get into a moral quandary with their Jesus. The notion of their Jesus, doing the things in the Old Testament that the God does. Not him though. Not at all. That's kind of funny. A little scary. Only a little scary, but but otherwise, now what were you asking after that? Sorry, I distracted.
About your content, your empire. Where do people find you?
Oh yeah, so I've got the YouTubes, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. I'm doing the thing on Instagram is my atheisting travel blog, and also behind the scenes of my puppy dogs who help me with the show. They don't really help. That's what that is. And then I've got Twitter and YouTube. I actually have the chrismallard.com domain, but I don't currently have a site there, nor do I have it pointed anywhere. What kind of I got to go point that domain to my YouTube or something. I'm going to build a website and put it there, and it's going to be fun. But most of the time I spend on my YouTube and my Facebook. You can find me on Facebook, The Daily Atheist, or Chris Mallard, or on YouTube's as The Daily Atheist.
Sounds like a good way to go. So, well, thank you for being on tonight.
Thank you for having me. It was a lot of fun. It was nice meeting you, by the way. How did you find me? Do you have a moment to tell me how you learned?
Oh, that's secret. No, I'm just kidding. I think we just were friends on Facebook, and I saw your kind of cartoon, like The Daily Atheist. I'm like, okay, that's someone who could be a guest. So it's
gotcha.
I think we connected, and then I reached out, and the magic happened.
Well, Dale had done an interview with Robert over at the Right to Reason podcast, or a debate, I guess, and it was about whether or not Dale would kill Robert if God told him to. And I did a video about how people kill for faith. Faith kills. And Robert happened to see that, and he thought since I did that video, it'd be good to pit me up against Dale. But thank you for having me. I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, thanks for being on.